The wind blew across the jagged cliffs of planet Drathis. The sky was a swirl of dark purple clouds and flashes of green lightning. On the ground, a lone figure moved carefully, keeping low among the sharp rocks. His name was Alex. He was human, and humans were rare on Drathis. The planet was known for its dangerous creatures, harsh weather, and strange alien energy that made even strong beings weak. But Alex did not run. He did not fear. He had survived worse before. Alex's eyes scanned the horizon. He knew he was being watched. He could feel it in the air, something cold and calculating. He crouched behind a rock, listening to the growls of the creatures around him. One of them, a massive six-legged predator, sniffed the air and turned in his direction. Alex held his breath. The creature stepped closer, its claws clicking on the stones. Just as it lunged, Alex rolled to the side and threw a small rock. The predator snapped at it, confused, giving Alex enough time to escape into a narrow canyon. High above, on the floating palace of Queen Zira, the ruler of the Drathians, observers watched Alex's every move. The queen's throne room was dark, but her presence filled it. She sat tall, her green scales glimmering under the light of alien lamps. Her eyes were sharp and bright, like twin emeralds. The largest screen in the room showed Alex moving across. The dangerous terrain. "Who is this human?" a commander asked, bowing slightly. "He survived alone against the beasts. He avoided all our traps. He is extraordinary." Queen Zira leaned forward, her claws tapping lightly on her armrest. "I want him," she said. "Bring me that warrior. I must see what makes him so different. He is a human, yes? Strong, clever, unafraid. Find him." "Yes, Your Majesty," the commander said. He bowed again and left the room. Meanwhile, Alex was climbing a steep ridge. His body was tired, but his mind was alert. Every step had to be careful. One mistake could end him. He paused and looked at the strange plants that grew here. They pulsed with energy, bright blue veins running through their leaves. Alex carefully avoided touching them. He had learned the hard way that Drathis was not forgiving to the careless. A sudden roar echoed through the canyon. Alex's heart skipped a beat, but he did not panic. He knew the sound. It was not one of the normal predators. These were more organized. He remembered the report he had read when he first arrived. Some alien forces had come to capture humans. Most humans would have run. Alex had learned not to run. He ducked behind a large rock and took a deep breath. His mind worked fast. He had to set a trap, confuse his pursuers. From his bag, he pulled a few small gadgets he had built himself. Simple tools, but effective. A mirror here, a noisemaker there. In seconds, he had created illusions of himself moving in different directions. From the cliffs above, alien soldiers moved silently. They wore armor that shimmered with energy. Their weapons were advanced, capable of stunning or capturing a human. In seconds. They paused, confused by the movements of the illusions Alex had created. The commander's eyes narrowed. "He is clever," he muttered. "Too clever for his own good. Or maybe for ours." Alex seized the moment. He rolled down a slope, using his momentum to move faster than any alien could track. One soldier tried to follow but slipped on the rocky surface. Alex kept running, his lungs burning, his muscles aching, but he felt alive. Every human instinct was focused on survival and thinking ahead. Hours passed. The sun of Drathis began to set, painting the sky in deep reds and purples. Alex finally found a small cave hidden behind a waterfall. It was wet, dark, but it would protect him for the night. He crouched inside, checking his gadgets and supplies. His mind was always alert, always thinking. He was not just running, he was learning. Every move of the alien soldiers, every pattern of the creatures. He observed it all. Above, Queen Zira watched from her palace. Her claws rested on the armrests, her eyes fixed on the screen. "I do not want him captured yet," she said quietly, almost to herself. "I want to see him. I want to understand why humans are so unpredictable. They survive when no one else would. They fight in ways that no species can imagine." Her advisors exchanged uneasy glances. "Majesty, should we not strike now?" one asked. "No," she said firmly. "Let him show us his skill. Let him prove why he is exceptional. Bring him to me, but only when I am ready." Back in the cave, Alex leaned against the wall, exhausted but alert. He did not know about the queen, the palace, or her orders. He only knew one thing. He had survived another day. And in the survival he felt a strange thrill. Every challenge, every danger made him sharper, faster, smarter. Humans had a way of facing impossible odds, and Alex embodied that. Outside, the storm began to pick up. Lightning split the sky, thunder shook the cliffs, and the wind howled like a wild beast. Alex did not flinch. He had faced storms worse than this, storms that could break bones and spirits. But he had learned to endure. He had learned to adapt. He had learned to survive. And somewhere in the distance, high above on her floating palace, Queen Zira smiled. She did not yet know the human's name. She did not yet know his story. But she knew one thing for certain. This human was extraordinary. And soon he would come to her. The next morning, Drathis was alive with movement. Mist curled around the jagged cliffs, and strange glowing plants swayed as the wind passed. Alex stepped carefully out of his hiding cave. His body ached, but his mind was alert. He knew the aliens would not give up easily. Far above, on a hovering ridge, a small squad of alien soldiers advanced. They wore armor that glimmered under the stormy sky, and their weapons hummed softly. Each step they took was calculated. Their commander, a tall being with sharp green scales and glowing eyes, looked down at the canyon. "He cannot escape," he said. "We have tracked him all night. He is clever, yes. But cleverness ends where strength begins." Alex did not know they were watching him yet. He moved slowly, scanning for dangers both natural and unnatural. Drathis was full of predators, some of which could kill a human in seconds. But the aliens were more dangerous than any predator. He knew that. He had survived creatures, storms, and traps before. This was different. This was organized intelligence, and he had to stay one step ahead. He spotted a narrow path between rocks that led to a plateau. It was risky, but it offered cover. As he climbed, he noticed strange tracks. Three-legged creatures with claws sharper than knives. He avoided them carefully, testing the ground with a stick before stepping. Every movement was deliberate. Every step mattered. Above, the alien squad split into two groups. One went east to block escape, the other went west to drive him forward. Their plan was simple: trap the human between them. But humans were unpredictable. Alex's mind raced with possibilities. He needed a way to confuse them. He took out a small device from his pack, a noisemaker he had built. He set it on a ledge and ran down a side path. The device clicked on, making a sound like footsteps. From above, the aliens saw the movement and assumed it was Alex. They rushed toward the noise, leaving the other path unguarded. Alex smiled quietly. Humans had a way of thinking outside any pattern. The aliens could follow their rules, but humans made new ones. He used that to his advantage, ducking into a hidden crevice as the soldiers passed by. Hours passed, and the sun began to set. Alex moved quickly but cautiously. He had learned the weather patterns of Drathis. The storms came fast, and the lightning struck without warning. He reached a valley with strange, glowing plants. Their light was soft but enough to reveal movement. He had to cross quickly. Suddenly, a soldier appeared from the shadows. Alex froze. The soldier raised his weapon, aiming directly at him. Alex's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. He threw a rock to the side. The soldier's eyes followed the sound, and in a moment, Alex dashed past him. He was fast, agile, and precise. Every human instinct was focused on survival. The squad regrouped, frustrated. "He is faster than we thought," the commander said, "but we will not fail. He will be ours." Meanwhile, Queen Zira observed from her palace. She did not intervene directly. She wanted to see how this human moved, how he thought. "He is clever," she whispered, "and fearless. But there is more to him. I can feel it. Humans are not like other beings. They adapt. They survive. And sometimes, they inspire." Alex continued his journey, moving toward a canyon where he could hide for the night. As he traveled, he noticed the small signs that the aliens were closing in: a snapped branch, a footprint in soft mud, a shadow that moved differently from the rest. Humans had learned to read these signs, to notice details others missed. Alex was not just surviving, he was learning the behavior of his pursuers. Night fell. The sky turned deep purple, streaked with green lightning. Alex found a hidden cave beneath a cliff. It was narrow but safe for now. He set small alarms, simple devices that would make noise if anyone approached, and rested briefly. He knew the aliens would track him relentlessly. They did not give up. Inside the cave, Alex considered his options. He could continue running, but that would only delay the inevitable. He had to outthink them, not just outrun them. Humans had a way of solving problems that no one expected. He smiled faintly, thinking about the challenge. Outside, the alien squad made camp nearby. They were cautious, watching every movement, ready to strike, but the humans' unpredictability frustrated them. "How does he know our traps?" One soldier asked. "How does he always escape?" The commander frowned. "Humans are dangerous, not because of their strength, but because they do not follow the rules. They see possibilities we do not. That is why the queen wants him. We will bring him to her alive, but we must learn from him first." Back in her palace, Queen Zira leaned forward, studying the screens. "I do not just want a warrior," she said softly. "I want to understand him. Humans are unique. They survive where others fail. They fight in ways no one expects, and I will see it for myself." The wind howled outside, and lightning flashed across the valley. Alex listened to the storm, feeling the strange energy of Drathis. He knew the aliens were near. He knew he had to stay ahead. But he also felt a strange thrill. This was not just survival. This was a test of human ingenuity, courage, and will. And far above, Queen Zira watched, her eyes reflecting the flashes of lightning. She did not yet know the human's name. She did not yet know his story. But she knew this: the humans were special, and soon she would see why. The next morning, the storm on Drathis had passed, leaving the land slick and shining under the weak sunlight. Alex moved carefully through the wet rocks, his clothes damp, his boots slipping occasionally. He had survived another night, but he knew the aliens were not far behind. Every human instinct told him to stay alert, to think 3 steps ahead. High above, on her floating palace, Queen Zira observed him. Her sharp green eyes followed every movement of the human on the canyon floor. She leaned forward, resting her claws on the armrest of her throne. "He is clever," she whispered. "Faster than I imagined. Smarter than most creatures in the galaxy. But why does he not fear us?" On the ground, Alex paused at the edge of a cliff. Below was a deep ravine, dark and dangerous, but it offered a possible escape route. He scanned the area for any sign of alien soldiers. He saw nothing, but he knew better than to trust what he could not see. He moved silently, careful not to disturb the loose stones underfoot. Suddenly, a shadow fell across the cliff. Alex looked up. A single alien soldier hovered in the air using a small anti-gravity device. He was armed, his weapon glowing softly. Alex's mind raced. The soldier's plan was obvious: trap him in the ravine. But Alex had already anticipated this. He quickly picked up a handful of dirt and tossed it toward the soldier. The dirt floated, in the thin gravity, reflecting the sunlight. The soldier's eyes followed the dirt, distracted. In that moment, Alex leapt to the side, landing safely on a narrow ledge. He moved quickly along the rock face, using every ounce of balance and skill he had. The soldier hissed in frustration, activating a small device to track heat signatures. Alex smiled faintly. Humans had learned to hide in ways other creatures could not. He crouched behind a rock, letting the heat from his body blend with the cold shadows. The device beeped, confused. The soldier growled and retreated, signaling to others above. Above, Queen Zyra's eyes narrowed. "Impressive," she said aloud. "This human, he is unlike anything I have seen. He fights without weapons, yet he is stronger, faster, and smarter than my soldiers. I must meet him." For the first time, the Queen decided to intervene personally. She activated a small shuttle and descended from her palace. Her presence was commanding, yet calm. The air shimmered slightly as she landed on the rocks, her green scales glinting in the sunlight. She carried no weapon, only her presence and authority. Alex noticed the movement above. He froze, unsure at first. Then he saw her clearly, tall, regal, alien, yet her eyes were curious, not hostile. She landed a short distance away, the ground, trembling slightly under her weight. Alex instinctively reached for his gadgets, but he paused. This was no ordinary soldier. Queen Zyra spoke, her voice clear and melodic, yet filled with power. "Human," she said, "I am Queen Zyra. I have watched you. You are clever, resourceful, fearless. Why do you not run? Why do you not fear me?" Alex lowered his hands slightly. He had faced threats before, but this was different. The Queen did not attack. She simply observed. His mind worked quickly. Humans had a way of sensing intentions. He took a cautious step forward. "I survive," Alex said simply. "That is what humans do. We adapt. We think. We find a way." The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly as if studying every detail of him. "Adapt," she repeated. "Yes, that is true. Humans are unpredictable. That is why I want to understand you. Not to capture you, not to fight you, but to see why you survive when others do not." Alex blinked, surprised. No alien had ever said anything like that. Most wanted to fight, capture, or destroy humans, but this Queen, she was curious, not hostile. He took another step forward, keeping his eyes on her. "I do not want trouble," Alex said. "I just want to live. That is all." The Queen smiled faintly. "And yet, you have done more than live. You have survived impossible dangers, outsmarted trained soldiers, and moved through a world that would kill almost any other creature. Humans, you are remarkable." Alex felt a strange sense of respect and tension at the same time. He had survived battles, storms, and creatures, but this was new. He was facing someone who could command entire armies, yet she was watching him, studying him, not attacking. Suddenly, a distant roar echoed through the canyon. Both Alex and the Queen turned toward it. A massive predator, larger than any Alex had seen, was moving quickly toward them. The Queen's eyes narrowed, and Alex instinctively reached for his gadgets. "This is your test," the Queen said quietly. "Show me your skill, human." Alex nodded. He knew he could not run. He had to act. He picked up a few rocks and small gadgets from his pack. He threw one gadget forward, making a loud noise. The predator turned, confused, giving him a chance to lead it into a narrow crevice. The creature got stuck, its body wedged between rocks, struggling but unable to move. The queen watched, her expression thoughtful. "Clever," she said. "Not just strong. Clever. That is why humans are dangerous. That is why they survive." Alex looked at her. "Why are you here? Why not just let your soldiers capture me?" She tilted her head slightly. "Because I want to see. I want to understand. Humans. They are unique. I must know why you fight, why you survive, why you do not fear even when the odds are against you. You are extraordinary, human." For the first time, Alex felt a strange connection with an alien. He had survived countless dangers alone, but here was someone who recognized skill, intelligence, and courage. Someone who understood, in a way. The queen took a step back, her eyes still fixed on him. "Rest now, human," she said. "Tomorrow, you will face more challenges, but remember, I am watching. I will see how far your human ingenuity can go." Alex nodded, careful but intrigued. For the first time, he felt that survival was not just about running or hiding. It was about understanding, learning, and maybe earning respect. Above, the queen returned to her shuttle, rising slowly into the sky. She did not take her eyes off him until she was back in the safety of her palace. There, she watched him from afar, her curiosity growing stronger with every move he made. Alex crouched in his hiding place, thinking. Humans had survived impossible odds for centuries, and he would continue. But now, he realized, survival was not just about escaping danger. It was about showing courage, skill, and creativity that even the most powerful beings could not ignore. And somewhere far above, Queen Zira smiled. She had not yet brought him to her. She had not yet made him a prisoner. But she knew this. The human was extraordinary, and soon he would change more than just his own fate. The next day, Drathis woke to an unusual quiet. The wind still howled through the jagged cliffs, but the usual predators were strangely absent. Alex moved cautiously through the canyon, his eyes scanning for danger. He had survived storms, predators, and alien soldiers, but today felt different. There was a tension in the air, one that made his senses sharper. Above, Queen Zira's palace floated silently, her green eyes fixed on the canyon floor. Something was coming. Not a predator, not an ordinary soldier, but something larger, more dangerous. She had sensed it hours ago. Her advisors whispered rumors of a rival alien army approaching, seeking to overthrow her rule. If they succeeded, Alex would be caught in the middle. Or worse, the planet could fall into chaos. Alex reached a narrow cliff path when he noticed strange footprints in the mud. They were unlike anything he had seen before, larger, with deep claw marks. He crouched, observing carefully. This was not a single creature. It was an army of predators moving in formation. They were fast, intelligent, and coordinated. He realized instantly that he could not outrun them. Not alone. He had to fight smart. He pulled a few small gadgets from his pack, mirrors, noisemakers, and a simple trap device. Humans had a way of using their minds to solve impossible problems, and Alex intended to do just that. Meanwhile, Queen Zira activated her communication device. "Prepare the soldiers," she commanded. "This human is not a prisoner. He is a partner, for now. We will need his skill." Alex had not expected her to intervene directly, but he sensed the presence of her elite soldiers nearby. They were cautious, staying hidden, waiting for his signal. Alex took a deep breath and moved forward, leading the predators toward a narrow canyon where he could control the battlefield. The first predator appeared, massive and fast. Alex threw a small mirror gadget onto a rock. The sunlight reflected, blinding the creature for a moment. It roared and swiped, missing him by inches. Another predator lunged from the side, but Alex had set a small noise device that mimicked his footsteps. Confused, the predator stumbled into a hidden pit trap. Alex had prepared. Queen Zira watched from above, her eyes narrowing in admiration. "Incredible," she whispered. "He thinks faster than most of my generals. His tactics are unpredictable." The predators moved in waves. Alex jumped, rolled, and dodged, using every trick he knew. He guided the creatures into narrow spaces where they could not attack effectively. The elite soldiers of the Queen observed carefully, impressed by his coordination and speed. Alex's movements were precise, efficient, and clever, a perfect example of human ingenuity. Suddenly, one of the larger predators broke free from a trap and charged directly at Alex. He rolled to the side, grabbed a rope-like vine, and swung it to knock the creature off balance. It crashed into the canyon wall, stunned but not dead. Alex quickly placed a mirror to reflect sunlight into its eyes, forcing it to retreat temporarily. Queen Zira descended slowly to the canyon floor. Her presence was commanding. The predators paused, sensing her power. Alex saw her and realized that together they could change the tide. He moved closer to her, keeping one eye on the predators and one on her. "Follow my lead," Alex whispered. "We can trap them here, but we must move fast." She nodded. Alien soldiers appeared from the shadows, ready to strike at Alex's signal. Alex ran forward, throwing a gadget that created loud clanging noises. The predators charged, but the soldiers attacked strategically, herding them into a narrow gorge. Alex had guided them perfectly. Every move counted. As the last predator fell into the trap, Queen Zira approached Alex. "You are remarkable," she said. "I have seen many warriors, many creatures, but your mind, your instincts, they are unlike anything in this galaxy." Alex wiped sweat from his brow, catching his breath. "I just survive," he said simply. "That is what humans do." The Queen smiled faintly. "Humans are clever, yes, but you are exceptional. I wanted to see you, to study you, to understand why your kind survives. Now I know. Your courage, your thinking, your adaptability, it is unmatched." Alex looked at her, curious. "Why are you helping me? You could have captured me any time." I'm not like the others," she replied. "I do not want to destroy humans. I want to understand them. And I want to see if their ways can strengthen my forces. Today, you saved more than yourself. You saved my soldiers, my rule, and perhaps even my world." Alex felt a strange respect for her. He had faced countless dangers alone, but here was someone who recognized skill, intelligence, and bravery. She was not just a queen. She was a leader willing to see value in another being, even one so different from herself. The sun set over the canyon, casting long shadows across the jagged rocks. Alex and Queen Zira stood together, observing the aftermath. The predators had been neutralized, the canyon was quiet, and for the first time, Alex felt that he was not entirely alone. "You will rest now," the Queen said. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but know this. Your human ingenuity has earned respect here. Not just mine, but that of my soldiers. You have shown that humans are more than strength or speed. They are thinkers, problem solvers, leaders." Alex nodded, exhausted but proud. "I will rest," he said, "but I will be ready. Humans always are." High above, in her floating palace, Queen Zira watched as Alex disappeared into the shadows. She did not just see a human. She saw potential, creativity, and courage, the kind that could change the galaxy. She wondered what would happen next. Perhaps the humans were not just survivors. Perhaps they were the beginning of a new way of thinking about strength, strategy, and life itself. And somewhere in the canyon, Alex prepared for the next day, unaware that the Queen had begun to plan for more than observation. She would test. him further, not to break him, but to learn from him. And Alex, as always, would meet those challenges the only way he knew how, head-on, clever, and completely human. The sun rose over Drathis, casting a dim orange glow across the jagged cliffs and winding canyons. Alex stood at the edge of a high plateau, looking down at the valley below. The predators were gone, but their place had been taken by something far more dangerous. An alien army, massive and organized, moving toward the Queen's forces. Alex's instincts screamed danger. This was no ordinary threat. High above, Queen Zira observed the army from her palace. Her eyes narrowed as she studied the enemy formations. "They are strong," she said to her advisors, "but strategy, intelligence, and adaptability, those are human strengths. And I have one of the best right here." She gestured toward Alex, who was preparing small devices and surveying the land. Alex had spent the night planning. He had learned from the previous encounters that raw strength alone was not enough. Humans could think, improvise, and use their surroundings in ways other species rarely considered. He set traps along the canyon paths and created decoys to confuse the incoming forces. Every rock, every crevice, every shadow was a potential advantage. The alien army advanced, their weapons glowing, their steps synchronized. Soldiers shouted. Orders and machines moved with precision. Yet as they approached the canyon, they began to slow. Confusion spread among them. Traps triggered, rocks fell, devices created illusions, and the army's formation faltered. Alex watched carefully, guiding their movement from his hiding places. Queen Zira descended into the canyon, moving beside Alex. "You are extraordinary," she said quietly. "No one has ever used the terrain and the enemy's own momentum against them like this. You are teaching my soldiers something new." Alex nodded. "It's not about teaching, it's about survival. Humans always find a way, no matter the odds." As the first wave of alien soldiers entered the canyon, Alex activated a series of small devices. Lights flashed, noises echoed, and holographic images of humans appeared on the rocks, making it seem as if more humans were present than there really were. The soldiers hesitated, unsure which way to move. Alex took advantage of their confusion, using a narrow path to flank them from the side. The enemy commander shouted, "Hold the line! Don't fall for their tricks!" But the canyon worked against them. Narrow spaces forced them to move slowly, and the traps kept them off balance. Alex moved swiftly, his mind always calculating, always predicting the next move. Humans were small and seemingly weak, but their minds were powerful. Every tactic he used demonstrated that. Queen Zira's soldiers followed his lead, coordinating attacks with his movements. Together, human ingenuity and alien strength created a perfect combination. Alex felt a strange sense of satisfaction. He was not just surviving anymore, he was leading. Hours passed. The sun dipped low and shadows stretched across the canyon. The alien army was frustrated, suffering losses not because of brute force, but because of strategy, clever thinking, and unpredictability. Every move Alex made showed that humans could outthink almost any opponent. Suddenly, the enemy commander activated a massive weapon, a gravity disruptor designed to crush anyone caught in its field. Alex froze for a moment, then smiled. Humans thrived under pressure. He quickly threw a decoy device into the center of the disruptor's field. The device emitted a bright light and a pulse that tricked the weapon's sensors. The disruptor activated, but it targeted the decoy instead of the real humans and Queen Zira's soldiers. The weapon destroyed itself harmlessly, and Alex used the moment to lead a counterattack. He guided the remaining soldiers along paths he had prepared, forcing the enemy to fall into one trap after another. Every predator, every soldier, every machine fell behind, unable to predict the humans' movements. Queen Zira watched, amazed. "I have seen many battles," she said softly. I have commanded countless soldiers, but nothing compares to this. Humans, they think differently. They adapt instantly. They do not follow rules, they create them. Alex paused for a moment, catching his breath. He had been running, jumping, setting traps, and thinking at the same time. Humans were designed for endurance and innovation, and he had used every advantage. He looked at the remaining enemy soldiers and knew the battle was nearly won. One last wave surged forward, desperate to break the canyon line. Alex took a deep breath, analyzing the terrain. He ran to a narrow ledge above them and activated a set of devices he had hidden earlier. Rocks tumbled down, and nets fell from the cliffs, entangling the soldiers. Confused and trapped, the last wave fell back. The battle ended. The alien army had been stopped, not by sheer strength, but by intelligence, strategy, and adaptability. Alex stood on the plateau, his chest heaving, sweat dripping from his forehead. Queen Zira descended to his side, her expression a mixture of admiration and curiosity. "You have done what no one else could," she said. "Not just fought, but won against impossible odds. Humans are more than survivors. You are thinkers, leaders, and warriors in ways I cannot fully describe." Alex smiled faintly. "I just do what I must. That is what humans do. We survive, we think, we adapt." The Queen studied him for a long moment. Perhaps it is time the galaxy learned this lesson. Not through fear, but through respect. Humans. You are extraordinary, Alex, and I have watched you closely. Tomorrow you will face new challenges, but know this: you have proven something vital. Your ingenuity, courage, and will are unmatched. Alex felt a strange pride, not in victory alone, but in being recognized for his mind and spirit. He had faced impossible odds, and humans had prevailed, not because of size, strength, or weapons, but because of creativity, intelligence, and determination. As night fell over Drathis, Alex and Queen Zira stood side by side, overlooking the canyon. The battle was over, but the story was far from finished. The human had not only survived, he had changed the way the aliens thought about strength, strategy, and courage. And somewhere far above, in her palace, Queen Zira smiled. She had begun to understand humans in a way she never expected. They were not merely another species. They were unpredictable, ingenious, and powerful. And the galaxy would never forget the lesson that Alex had just taught. The dawn on Drathis was calm, but Alex knew it was only the calm before the storm. The enemy army that had been stopped yesterday was not gone. They had retreated to regroup. This time they would come stronger, with new weapons and new strategies. Alex checked his gadgets, traps, and escape routes. Every human instinct told him to prepare for the worst. High above, Queen Zira watched from her palace. Her eyes were sharp, but there was a smile on her face. She had seen enough to know that humans were unlike any other species. Their courage, their intelligence, their adaptability, it was unmatched. Today, she would see if Alex could turn human. Ingenuity into victory on a scale no one expected. Alex moved through the canyon with precision. Every rock, every shadow, every path had been considered. He set decoys to mislead the enemy, placed traps to slow them down, and positioned mirrors and gadgets to create illusions of multiple humans moving in all directions. He was small compared to the alien army, but his mind was his greatest weapon. Queen Zira descended beside him. "This is the final test," she said. "If you succeed, not only will you survive, but you will show why humans are extraordinary. You will teach the galaxy a lesson." Alex nodded, understanding the weight of her words. This was no longer about personal survival. It was about proving something larger, the value of human creativity, courage, and strategy. The enemy army appeared. On the horizon, massive and organized. Their weapons glowed ominously, and their commander shouted orders. They were confident, thinking yesterday had been a fluke. But Alex had planned carefully. He had studied the terrain, the enemy patterns, and even their expectations. Humans thrived on turning expectations upside down. As the army moved into the canyon, Alex activated his first traps. Rocks tumbled down narrow paths, cutting off advance routes. Noise devices echoed through the cliffs, making the army think more humans were present than there actually were. Soldiers stumbled, machines slowed, and the enemy commander's frustration grew. Alex darted forward, moving quickly along a hidden path. He threw small gadgets to distract groups of soldiers, leading them into narrow spaces where they could not move efficiently. Each action was precise, each move calculated. The enemy could not predict him because humans were not predictable. Queen Zira's elite soldiers followed his lead, moving in perfect coordination with his tactics. Alex had become more than a human survivor. He was a strategist, a guide, and a force multiplier. Every step he took inspired those around him, showing that even the smallest human could influence the course of an entire battle. The enemy commander activated a massive energy weapon, intending to destroy everything in the Liu Canyon. Alex acted instantly. He threw a decoy device into the weapon's path, causing it to misfire. The blast destroyed a rock formation harmlessly, leaving Alex and the Queen's forces untouched. Humans could think and act faster than most machines. The battle raged for hours. Alex's traps, gadgets, and clever planning slowed the enemy. Queen Zira's soldiers fought with precision, inspired by his ingenuity. Every alien soldier learned from his tactics, adapting in real time to the changing battlefield. The enemy army, despite its size and weapons, began to falter. They had not faced a foe who combined mind and action so perfectly. As the sun began to set, Alex saw the final opportunity. He led the remaining soldiers along a narrow cliff path filled with traps, illusions, and pitfalls. One by one, the enemy fell into the carefully planned sequences. They were not defeated by brute force. They were defeated by intelligence, strategy, and the unexpected creativity of a human. When the last enemy fell back, Alex stood on a high ledge, breathing heavily. His body was exhausted, but his mind was sharp. Queen Zira approached him, her expression one of deep respect. "You have done it," she said. "Not just survived, but led. Not just fought, but inspired. Humans are not just survivors. They are extraordinary. Today, you have shown why the galaxy should never underestimate them." Alex looked at her, feeling a mix of pride and humility. "I did what I had to do. That is what humans do. We survive. We think. We adapt. That is all." The Queen smiled. "It is never just survival. It is courage, intelligence, and creativity. And you have shown all of these in ways I never imagined. The galaxy will remember this. Humans will be respected, not for their strength alone, but for their minds and hearts." Alex felt a strange sense of connection with the Queen. He had faced countless dangers, but this was different. She did not seek to destroy him. She had watched, learned, and now respected him. That respect was more valuable than any reward or title. High above in her palace, Queen Zira addressed her advisors. "Humans are remarkable," she said. "Their strength is not in numbers or weapons or size. Their power lies in their minds, their courage, and their adaptability. We must respect them, learn from them, and perhaps even work with them. This one human has changed the way I see the galaxy." Below, Alex and the Queen's soldiers secured the canyon. The enemy army had been defeated without unnecessary loss, and the Queen's forces were safe. Alex looked at the landscape, the cliffs, the shadows, the gadgets, the paths he had used. Humans had survived impossible odds before, and today they had done it again. The Queen approached Alex one final time. "You do not belong to me," she said. "You are free, but I hope you will stay. not as a captive, but as a valued ally. Humans and aliens can achieve much when we respect each other's strengths. Alex nodded slowly. I will stay, if it helps both sides. Humans do not fight for glory. We fight for survival, for understanding, for possibility. The Queen smiled, a rare and genuine expression. Then we have much to learn from each other. Today, you have not only survived, you have changed the way the galaxy will see humans forever. As night fell on Drathis, Alex stood with the Queen, looking at the stars above. He had faced unimaginable dangers, alien soldiers, and massive predators, yet he had survived and thrived. Humans had proved themselves once again, clever, brave, and unpredictable. Somewhere in the galaxy, beings would remember this day. They would remember the human who turned impossible odds into victory, the human who inspired a queen, and the human whose mind had reshaped the way strength and power were measured. Alex smiled faintly, knowing one simple truth. Humans survived. Humans adapted, and humans never gave up, and the galaxy had finally seen why.